Hi, everybody. Dan Illman and Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Friday, March the 20th, race number 7 at Santa Anita. We're going a mile on the turf. It's an optional claiming race for 3-year-olds. And let's take a look at this field. It's kind of an interesting race, Mike. You've got a couple of horses stretching out, a couple of horses moving from dirt to turf, and a couple of horses dropping in class, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and a bunch of horses, that have already tried stakes races and have run, okay in some of those races. I thought this was a very interesting race.
Let's throw up the Timeform US pace projector. The horse is expected to make the lead on the projector. The 2 West Sider. This is a horse trying turf for the first time. Up close, the 5 Bad Beat. Another horse moving from dirt to turf. I think the 7 Governance can work into a good trip. He really just didn't get away that cleanly last time out. With a good break, he should find a nice spot.
Yeah, he's got enough speed to get up close. I agree with you. The key to the pace of this race, though, is the 2 West Sider, just to see what he does in his turf debut here.
Let's kick things off with a horse coming off of a maiden win. That's the number 1, Jurgen. We're going to take a look at that race right now, coming from off the pace. And the pace was solid enough, and it was also a pretty decent enough field. The horse that actually finished 9th of 12 came back to improve to run second in a maiden special weight with a 73 buyer. This horse is not great out of the gate. He's going to probably need a little bit of pace help, but he's done a little wrong in North America.
This horse ran really well in this race. I thought I liked this win from him. He had a bit of a trip, I thought, in the stateside debut and ran well in that race too. He's probably got to improve a bit to beat this field, but I don't see why he can't do it, Dan. He's a contender to me.
The expected pace setter on the pace projector is the number 2 West Sider. This is a horse trying turf for the first time following this debut win for Bob Baffert on dirt. Let's watch West Sider. He handled the demanding 7-furlong distance for a first-time starter, sitting just off of the pace, finishing it off. He wasn't the favorite in this race, somewhat surprising for a Baffert first-time starting 3-year-old, considering he's loaded. I look at this pedigree, and I just don't see a ton of turf. I trust Uncle Mose with everything, Mike, 15% with first-time turf runners, but the dam's a half to overanalyze, and Meadow Breeze. Those 2 horses made their money on dirt.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of agree with your take on his pedigree. I mean, I guess I won't be surprised if he handles it. Overanalyze has turned out to be a decent turf sire, even though he wasn't a turf horse. I don't know, Dan. I just don't understand why this horse is switching to turf for his second start. He ran really well in his debut on dirt. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
It's really somewhat surprising, isn't it? Especially when you go into the formulator numbers. We would urge you all to do that. You can download free formulator PPs on the Race of the Day event page. This is one of the things that Baffert does not do well. One of the rare things, moving from dirt to turf. The ROI is rather low, but I wouldn't be surprised if this horse runs well, showing speed under Bejarano. Commander is the number 3. This horse claimed out of his most recent start by Peter Miller, listed as a first-time gelding. He finished ahead of 2 next out winners in that most recent start, and the winner came back to run third in a Calbred 1X with the 73 buyer speed figure. That being said, this looks like perhaps a more promising field than the one he faced last time. That field was pretty good.
I agree with that. I think he's in pretty tough here, first off the claim, and he's just going to have to do a lot better. Maybe Miller will really improve him. Miller does a good job, obviously, but if you look up his stats, first time off the claim on turf in Formulator, they're not that great.
Number 4 is Candrell. You're going to get a solid price on some top connections here. Mike Smith, Dick Mandela. This is a horse that won his career debut on the turf and then has been sort of thrown to the wolves in 2 stake spots. They ran him in the Cecil B. DeMille most recently, and he just finished sort of one-paced. He's run the same 71 buyer speed figure in all 3 starts. Not bad for a 2-year-old. I wouldn't be surprised by improvement, but he might need some things to go his way from a trip standpoint in here.
That's what I thought. I liked his career debut, actually. I thought he ran well in that race, and he just didn't really do much of anything in the 2 stake starts. It's not like he found an easy allowance race here, Dan, but I think it's too early to give up on this horse. His debut actually was pretty good.
Bad Beats only raced once on turf, and we're going to take a look at that race right now. It was 2 starts back, going 5.5 furlongs on the weeds. He showed decent early speed, and he's going to run a pretty solid second. After that race, they switched him back to the dirt, where he showed his usual customary speed, pressing the pace and tiring. This turf race, by far and away, was his best buyer speed figure effort. I would expect this jock to be on a send.
Yeah, I think he's going to show speed in here too. I wonder if he's good enough. He didn't run poorly in the only turf start, Dan, but he's got to do a lot better than that. This is a good field.
Last Opportunity is the number 6. This horse ran third in the DeMille in his first North American start, and I just don't think a lot of things went right for him last time out in the Pasadena. That was a really fast pace on tap. He was up close to it, and he was very, very eager, and he ended up paying the price. I wonder if he can relax off of this pace, we'll see a stronger kick.
I wonder too. I'm going to use him just because I thought that his DeMille first time over here was actually a pretty good effort. It looked like a prep to me as well. And then, I don't know, he just didn't run well last time. I hear what you're saying. He did get a little pulley early in that race, but he was empty from a long way. I didn't like his last race. I got to believe he can do better than that, Dan.
Governance is the number 7. Governance was a winner 2 starts back, first time as a 3-year-old. They ran him in the Pasadena, and he was 21-1, and he kind of ran like a 21-1 shot. He's going to have to do a little bit better, but as I mentioned when we were discussing the pace projector, I think he can get up close to the pace, and he might get the first run on some horses that are unproven at the distance and sort of unproven on the surface.
Yeah, the trip could make a big difference for him. So if you're looking at the race that way and thinking he's going to just sit up close and be in the right spot, you can give him a chance to rebound. I'm going to look for other horses in here though, Dan. His form overall doesn't do a lot for me.
The 8 Liar was third in the Eddie Logan 2 starts back. They ran him in the Pasadena, first start off of a 2-month layoff, and he got a really good pace situation. They were going very fast early. He was last and by himself, and I didn't really see the trip. It's not like he ran extremely wide on the turn. He just sort of came with a one-paced finish. I'm not sure if they're going to go that fast in here, but he is getting some class relief.
He is. We'll see if he can take advantage of it. A lot like the horse we just discussed, Governance. I don't know how much I love this horse's form. He didn't break great last time, but as you say, that really didn't affect him that much because the pace was fast for him. I didn't see any real trouble in the race. It's not like he has to improve, Dan. I feel like some horses could really take a step forward in here and get the better of him.
The 9 is KP All Systems Go, and this horse improved by leaps and bounds with the addition of blinkers last time out, stretching out to 1 1/8 miles. Let's watch this race. This is what's known as a facile victory. Yes, there was a fast pace on for KP All Systems Go, who got a very nice ride. He was in behind a little bit at the quarter pole, but you see him now rocketing on the outside past these horses under a hand ride. A very impressive win, beating 2 next out winners. I guess this horse just has been waiting for blinkers his entire life.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's going to be able to back that race up, Dan, but he ran a huge race last time, and it looked like he was going to do that from the backstretch. He was just loaded the entire way around there. Even his race 2 back, I thought was a lot better than it looks when Governance beat him. He tried a big wide run around the turn and just didn't quite get there. If he backs that last race up, Dan, I think he beats this field.
Let's take a look at our top selections for this race, and that's where you're going, Mike, to the outside. Are you a little concerned that the improvement was also because of the 1 1/8 miles distance? Do you think he's more effective at that distance, or do you think it's just simply too early to tell?
I think it's too early to tell, although I would, it is something to consider for a horse who's the morning line favorite. He has got to cut back to 1 mile here, and he may not get a big pace in front of him. But I don't know. I like his races. I liked his races before the last one, Dan, and he just seemed like he took a big step forward last time.
Like you, it's sort of curious to me why the 2 West Sider is in here based on that promising debut win on the dirt. I do like the Uncle Mo's on turf, even though we mentioned on the bottom of the pedigree, there isn't a lot of dirt, although there is a lot of class. I'm hoping Rafael Bejarano can be aggressive with horse. I am not worried about him getting the mile. I think that'll be fine. And if he can get to the lead and relax, maybe West Sider can win it for Baffert. He is 6-1 on the morning line. Mike likes the 9. I like the 2. It's the DRF race of the day for Friday. Remember those free Formulator past performances on the race of the day event page at DRF.com.